Yo everybody, it's J Funk here once again. Today we're looking at the first three bosses in Heroic Manaforge Omega of the recent raid testing. We've already tested these bosses on normal, but there are added heroic mechanics for each fight, and obviously the bosses have more HP, so you get to see more of the fight. So starting off here with Plexus Sentinel. This is the first boss of the raid. It remains largely unchanged from normal, but there is a difference on the group soak. So we have markers set up here. Random people are going to get selected with these portals or runes or whatever, and you want to move over to these markers and place them down on the side of the room to conserve space. It also does damage in an area and leaves these mines behind when it expires. If you walk into that mine, it stuns you for 5 seconds, I believe, and does some damage. This is the tank mechanic. The tank mechanic does drop off damage, and tank wants to leap out and go to the other side. It also leaves a giant puddle of bad stuff on the ground. This is the group soak. So the group soak, it knocks people away. So what we have people do is the person walks out into melee range. The melee take the first one and they stand towards the boss. So they get knocked towards the boss. Then we have the range move into the second one and get knocked away. Here's the matrix here. So we put them here so that the melee can stand in melee range, sort of, and place these down. He's going to do one more mechanic here. This is kind of the main mechanics of these phases. It's going to rinse repeat this. And then he will teleport to the end of the bridge here and pushes back. And he'll spawn these obstacles. So if you're similar to Soul Hunter from Antorus, these beams do a lot of damage. And then this wall, you have to use an extra action button with your Reshi Wraps, which will teleport you through it. These giant circles will do like 2 million damage to you and knock you back. So you kind of want to navigate this maze, and then you have to break this absorb shield because he just does increasing pulsing damage while he has the absorb shield up, and then it reverts back into stage 1 and it rinse repeats from this point. However, I did notice during testing that the layout of each maze changes, so you might want to change up where you're dropping stuff based on that. I noticed on the maze after this next phase 1, not the one that come after this one, but the one after that, the maze layout changed where like we'd want to swap the sides. We'd want to drop the tank debuff where we're standing and then drop the mines on the other side. So tank soak here, the group soak here, pretty easy. But overall, my impressions of this fight are that I like it. It seems a lot less annoying than Vexy. One thing about Vexy, low-key, is a farm boss for a first boss. It's really annoying because no one wants to do the bikes, and it becomes a problem on farm. So far, at least on Heroic for this fight, it's straight single target. There's not really any like annoying mechanics that you have to do. It's just hit the boss and do damage, and it feels good. For a first fight, it has the spectacle that you would expect of a first fight because teleporting through the walls is kind of neat. The group soak's kind of cool, I guess. I don't really know what we'll do on Mythic, but I guess we'll see tomorrow. But at 100 energy here, I'll do it again. We'll get to see one of the last mazes. As a Windwalker monk, I can say that the mazes are pretty easy because I'm so mobile. I don't know how you would utilize gateway and like speed buffs and stuff because I don't know. From what we could tell, you can't gateway through the circles and stuff, and gatewaying through the beam would just probably kill you. So not a great idea. So right here, he's gonna teleport away, push you away. You could probably gateway this to negate a lot of the knockback, I guess. But then you see that the path here to navigate through a little bit easy. And we use this here. You can also use your Reshi Wrap extra action button. It has like a 15-second cooldown, right? You can use it while you're soaking to soak twice. So for example, if you, as a melee, if you get knocked forward, you can turn around, use your Reshi Wrap, which will teleport you back into the soak, and then you get knocked again. Which actually might be good, but in Mythic, I believe the wall constantly comes towards you, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to do that. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. We're moving on to the next boss. The next boss we tested was Loom'ithar. This is the second boss. It's a giant like moth thing that hangs from the ceiling. It's stationary in phase 1. It's 2 phases. So this is the main mechanic of this phase. It's similar to Iranog, the first boss in Vault of the Incarnate. It's going to spawn this slowly moving web towards you. It goes towards the middle. If you get hit by it, you get rooted and take a lot of damage. The tank mechanic needs to pierce one of these, which makes it killable, and that becomes a priority ad. You kill it to give you an opening to escape this hole. On Heroic, I was able to roll through this as a monk, get rooted, and then remove the root and the dot with Tiger's Lust, so that is food for thought. Then the players will get targeted with that strand thing you just saw. They have to move 40 yards away from the boss to snap it, and it'll leave a void zone wherever they are snapped. Ideally, those players are grouped so that you save some space, because that'll be important later. Besides that, not a whole lot happens, just some swirlies to move out of. It just kind of does leaving over and over again. Phase 1's pretty easy, and Phase 2, which will happen at 50% HP, it's still pretty straightforward, but it becomes a DPS race because a lot of the space is going to be consumed by puddles that the boss will spawn, and yeah, you just need to kill the boss fast at 50%. So it might be a 50% lust angle, we'll see. But yes, mechanically it seemed pretty simple, on Heroic at least. I'm sure on Mythic it gets way more complicated, but this seemed pretty easy. This mechanic you're supposed to move away from and move out of. As a melee, I didn't want to do that, so I pressed Diffuse Magic and Touch of Karma and just take the damage, because I'm not moving out of that. Then it just repeats. Well, fast forward here, let's see. Alright, 50% HP. The boss is going to come down, going to knock us back a little bit, and then rip herself in half, hardcore, and then spawn a Void Zone. And then from here on out, there's a couple mechanics. One is a tank soak. I assigned Group 1 and Group 3 to soak this. You soak the frontal. This is split damage, you have to soak it. And the Group 2 and 4, it gives you a debuff, so we need to alternate. So we have Group 2 and 4 soaking the next one. Then she'll do this pushback thing that does a lot of damage, and then she will spawn a growing Void Zone underneath her, as you can see. And you kind of just need to slowly drag her across the room, dodge these puddles, dodge these swirlies, and then just soak. And this is kind of the whole fight. It's pretty simple, pretty fun though. It's just pure single target for the most part with some priority adds. Overall, I kind of like the fight. It's kind of fun. Hopefully on Mythic it's doing well, and it should be a good time. Moving on to the last boss we tested, Soulbinder something? Alright, this is Soulbinder Naazindhri. Sorry, I missed the name before. This is well, the two fights that we did earlier were single target, mostly. This is more cleave. So you'll have more consistent 3-target cleave, and then at some point during the fight, you're going to have like 6+ target cleave with the boss. This is a tank mechanic. I'm not sure what it does. I think it just adds a stacking dot or something. Apparently the tank said it wasn't working properly, but what's the most important mechanic is this soul calling. So she's going to spawn these ads across the room in these things. You need to aim these beams, and you need to be behind the ad because it's a projectile. If the projectile makes impact with a player, it will instead hit the player and not pop the ad out, which is really bad. You cleave these down, and as you can see, each ad is casting a uninterruptible cast. It's like 95 seconds long or something, called Soul Weave. If they complete that cast, then they become an ad, a different ad that has a different name. You'll see their names. Each ad is different, so I think we're moving over here. That was a knockback. You get knocked the direction you want to move. But you see Unbound Mage at the top there, and then Unbound Assassin. Those are different types of ads. The mages have cast, the assassins do something. So I get the beam here, I move it behind it. Make sure I align this properly here. Bang, alright. Then we cleave these down. And when the cast finishes, all the ads that you have not dealt with will spawn. And it does a big burst of damage based on that too. You see this convergence thing here? It's just like she targets random players. It'll spawn these slow moving balls. You ideally want to move out and try not to aim it towards the raid. And Arcane Expulsion just kind of knocks you back. Ideally, you don't shoot your balls from the thing towards where we're being knocked. Okay, we're going into the middle here. But the deal of this fight is that you just can't get rid of all the ads. So you have to pick and choose which ads you're getting rid of. From what we could tell, you'd want to get rid of like Soul Guards or something. Maybe what the ad is called. Phase Blades is what they're called. My bad. You want to get the Phase Blades because the Phase Blades will slam your tank for large amounts of damage, and the other ads are CCable where the Phase Blades are not. So you're gonna see here momentarily, bang, huge damage. All the ads spawn. So you want to have a range kick on the mage, and then you want to have the tanks pick up everything else. These are CCable, and it just becomes an AoE fest, a funnel fest for the arcane mages and the Havoc Team Hunters in your group. There's a debuff called Volley. I guess you wanted to spell it. I diffuse magic or something. You get some kicks on the Void Burst when they're in. Move out with the convergences if you get it, and then it resets into phase 1. It just happens over again. So you just rinse, repeat. That's the fight on Heroic. Overall, my impressions of this fight, I think it's pretty neat. I'm curious what changes on Mythic. It seems like there's a little bit of optimization, but overall impressions of the first 3 fights, they are on the easier side, but tuning on the PTR is more generous usually. But even just like mechanically, it seemed easier. Also, the boss bugged out for us on our last attempt here and didn't spawn ads, but she's supposed to spawn more ads, and then you just rinse repeat again. But then we kill her here. I do like the fights. They're on the easier side, but I think that I'm fine with that with the impending add-on removal changes. That fights need to be easier to do, and this is a great first start. If this is what their attempt is, I'm fine with the bosses being easier. That's fine with me, because as long as they're fun to do, that's the important thing. So anyway, that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.